In this video I'm going to be breaking down Joe Lewis's boxing techniques so you can fight like him. Lewis was taught to be a knockout artist. Blackburn would teach Lewis to hurt his opponent with every punch, and accuracy is more important than volume. Counter punches hurt people more than when they are braced, and over the years Lewis became a formidable aggressive counter puncher. What I like about Lewis is he doesn't really do anything complicated. It's all the basics done really well by a very strong and conditioned fighter. To be able to aggressively stalk your opponents and counter punch against the top level guys, you have to have a game plan. His game plan would be to calmly shuffle to his opponent. He was always aggressive but didn't like to fight on the inside. He would focus on landing the cross and left hooks. When Lewis had the initiative, he didn't flick his jab, he made sure it was very strong. If his jab landed, it would wear the opponent down. The idea was to make them react. Either they have to do something defensive, such as take a step back or try and parry it. And with this in mind, he would try to counter that reaction. The jab was used to draw punches. He would then counter your counter punch. A perfect example here. Lewis's best punch was a right cross. I have 2 videos on that already. You need to develop this to the point that you're confident you can throw it accurately when they are mid combination, and if it lands clean, you will stop them in their tracks. You will also need to be on balance after you throw it, so you can do a left hook after or some sort of defensive technique depending on the situation. He was famous for his combination punches too. Nothing fancy here, just the basics done very well. The 1-2 is as simple as it gets. He sees the opening on Johny Paycheck and knocks him out cold. He used the 1-2 throughout most of his fights. The right uppercut left hook was used to knock out Mann. The uppercut lifts the head, which makes it an easy shot for the left hook. Lewis did multiple left hooks. You see a triple left hook here knock down Max Baer. He does lots of 3 or 4 punch combinations of the right cross followed by the left hook. This was particularly effective against the ropes. It was in this combination that Max Schemling broke the vertebrae in his back. When his opponent was attacking, he had solid defense and was ready with counters. Defense comes in 2 parts: not getting hit and the counter punch opportunity. An easy summary for not getting hit is move your feet, move your head, parry, block, roll or smother. Lewis would use his footwork to pressure and evade his opponents. The difference between Lewis compared to others is his footwork was really minimal. He didn't run around the ring or try and get lots of fancy angles. He'd walk you down and try and counter what you gave him at medium range. Step backs are an essential part of defense. It allows for no damage to be taken and gives you space for your counter punches. Here are some examples. All he does is push off his front foot, maintaining the distance between both his feet for his balance. Head movement was used to set up counters and maintain that distance. You should notice his hands are lower than today's standards, and that is no accident. He would slip primarily to his right. In short, it's because it's harder for them to hit you and it sets up your own right hand. This doesn't mean it's always to the right though, as slipping to the left or on the inside adds variety, making it less predictable and setting up left hook counters. Here are some examples of the inside slip left hook. They are absolutely devastating, but they're high risk, high reward, and should be used sparingly or when you can time them. Lewis says the left hook is primarily used for counters, but should be used after the right hand too. The outside slip and jab is one of the safest counters you can do. It's very easy to get the timing right, maintains distance, and there's no real risk compared to others. The outside slip right hand is more risky than the jab because you're shifting and committing your weight to the lead leg and squaring up your body. The counter is one of the best you can do and is worth the risk of a counter punch. You just need to make sure you have good timing when you're doing it. Ducking is out of fashion nowadays for the more modern weave. It's a very effective technique used to evade the right hand and hooks. You can see how effective it is with these examples here. If you want to fight like Lewis, you need to master how to parry the jab. This allows you to maintain that medium range without having to step. You're not taking any damage. You're making their jab useless half the time. You can add jabs to counter them. And then you start to time your opponents. You can add the right hand, just like these examples here. Rolling with punches was why these guys were able to have so many fights in such a short period of time. Much more of an emphasis in their training was having that shot glance off of you and you staying in that range to counter, whereas now the emphasis seems to be on blocking because of the larger gloves. Rolling involves more skill and timing and is a far better technique to use. There's not a huge amount to say about Lewis's inside fighting because he didn't really do it that often. He would try to catch you on the way in and then he would form a clinch to try and smother your punches, just make it very difficult to punch. He would usually try and get on the inside of your elbows and wait for the referee to break and then get back into medium range again. I have a video summarising Joe Lewis's boxing style and a mini-series on his book How to Box to learn his stance, footwork and punches. Also a video on his weakness you need to make sure you don't do. The links are in the description. I hope you liked the video. If you have any other ideas of future videos, just drop a comment and I'll see what I can do.